anybody knows any of these names on here?
Alexander, Plato.
Who are they?
Love. Why is it all red and all the others are blue or black?
Because this one isn't actually a person. He said it's painting of a representative woman glaring out as love. And these are all figures trying to understand what love is, but they don't really know. See this guy Zeno of Citium here? Now this guy, he thought up what's called the slave stealing parable. Have you guys ever stole anything from anybody?
Well, I have
what did you steal?
to lay down.
I stole board games once. And
So you don't want to switch spots, okay? And what was
I think I stole a Transformer when I was like 5.
Okay, so some was it, did it feel good or bad?
I kind of felt bad after.
Okay, what about you?
One time I stole something and I lied to the teacher, and I said, "That's my Lego," and Caleb and I were fighting the whole. Excuse me. I stole the Lego.
Did you feel good or bad about it?
Excuse me, that was I felt kind of good, but mostly bad. Because I felt good because I had a Lego for the first time, and I felt bad because of Caleb.
Okay.
Excuse me. That was my Lego.
Okay.
Excuse me, it was mine.
Okay, so the rule we have to learn here, the Zeno of Citium, see this guy right here? This explains in what's called a deterministic universe. The slave's going to come in here, he's going to go in front of the prince, and he says, "Please, sir, do not punish me for the destiny of the ages over which I have no control as determined that I should steal." So what, if you were the king, what should you say to him if he stole from your palace? Okay, what?
I would get my guards and chase after.
Okay, yeah, so this guy says, he says, well, if you steal, then I must punish you. That's how society works. When people switch over to go from believing in God to not believing in God, they'll say, well, I can do whatever I want. But according to a deterministic universe, when stealing happens, the system will react by punishing you. It doesn't have anything to do with God. Okay. Okay, so he comes in here and he says, "Sir, I've stolen, but the choice wasn't mine. I was made to steal over the forces of the universe." And this guy, the king, he says, "Well, I have to punish you by the same reason, by the forces of the universe." So even if you go stealing, you think that you're not going to get caught, the universe is still going to catch you because there's certain rules to the universe. And you're going to feel bad about it in the end. And it doesn't have to do anything with going to hell or heaven. So that's what's called deterministic punishment. So now we're going to get to, everybody remembers the reactions, right? The book is called Elective Affinities. So here's the guy that thought of this. This is Goethe. This is the guy that invented chemical morality. He says if you want to understand what love is, you have to explain it in terms of chemical forces. Everybody wants to know about Adam and Eve, right?
Yes.
Okay, so here's Eve right here, right? Okay, Temple, you want to know about Adam and Eve, right? And why didn't God, you asked the question, why did God make man before woman, right? And you asked the question, Ricky, how could God create Eve from Adam's rib? Okay, so originally this story became, first there was a guy named Hesiod. He was a Greek poet. He wrote the story that, you see these gods right here? In the original version there was a god named Zeus. This is how they created humans according to the original version, according to Plato's Symposium. So God did not create Adam and Eve according to the Bible, like it says here. To interject, although we've already discussed some of this in lecture part 1, Ricky asks here, as one of his 3 questions each of the children brought to the Zerotheism for Kids class, how could God create Eve from Adam's rib? This comes from Genesis 2:21, where it says, God removed one of Adam's ribs, illustrated here, and used the rib to create a new woman, Eve. This story, as we've touched on, comes from a mixture of the Sumerian myth of the god Enki, who had a pain in one of his ribs, and how the goddess Ninti, with her life powers and ability to create humans from a mixture of blood and clay, healed his rib, which was merged by the biblical authors with the Egyptian myth of Khinum creating humans on his potter's wheel. In the old times they would say God came down and created Adam and Eve in the jungle. Now Adam means clay. In short, the story of God creating Eve from Adam's rib is a truncated syncretism of the story of God creating woman from clay, intermixed with the story of Ninti healing Enki's rib via the rewrite of Adam, which means clay in Hebrew, and Eve, which means spirit or life in Hebrew. On this deconstruction, people sometimes ask me, why are you an atheist? To which I reply that I believe in atoms and energy, which are real, rather than Adam and Eve, which are mythologies and not real. You see how these two people are, this is what they used to think people were. You see how there's two people joined together? Their backs are stuck together. There used to be one person. They used to believe they had one soul. So originally, according to Plato, which is this guy right here, see Plato right here? He is one of the Greek philosophers. He said that before the Bible was written, okay, Zeus came down and with his power he split humans. And then originally they had one soul and their souls were forever split. So who knows what a soulmate is? Or what is it?
It's like you're somewhere like you're destined to be with them.
Jake, what do you say the soulmate is?
It looks like they're connected together and they love them forever.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yes. That's about right. So this is where this, when you go to high school, everybody want to go to high school?
No.
You're in high school or you're going to go to high school?
No,
Excuse me.
Yeah, who wants to go?
High school is for babies. Excuse me.
Question?
Why does everyone else have two souls except Melanie now?
Okay, right when they're together, they have one soul. You see soul 1, soul 2, soul 3, soul 4, soul 5. But when Zeus comes down, which is the Greek god, and he puts the power into them, he splits them. And now they have a split soul. So this one becomes the female, and she has soul A, and he has soul 6A, and he has soul 6B. And then they, according to Greek mythology, they spend their rest of their days searching for each other so they can be reunited, have their souls joined together. So that's where the soul story. So when you go to high school, this is a story, this is full of people in Lloyd Norris High School in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And when you go there, 76% of the high school students are going to believe in soulmate theory. The original story, Prometheus, you see this god, these are all different gods before. Now Prometheus went up to heaven and the king of Zeus' kingdom, and he stole the fire. And he brought it back, and he gave humans life. Now Zeus, Caleb, hold on, we're telling a story here. So Zeus was all mad because Prometheus stole the fire from Zeus. So what Zeus did was he found the most beautiful god, was called Aphrodite. And he sculpted this woman named Pandora, modeled off of this goddess Aphrodite. And they gave him her 12 powers, or 12 gifts. One was the gift of beauty, one was the gift of wisdom, one was the gift of curiosity, and a bunch of other gifts. And one of the gifts was this chest. And they told her not to open the chest. Well, if you do open the chest, then you're going to let all the evil into the world. And so they sent her down here, and she was so beautiful that she fell in love with Prometheus' brother. And then her curiosity caused her to open up the chest, and she let the evil into the world. And if you read the story of Hesiod's Pandora's box, you'll find that there's a golden apple, there's a secret garden, there's a snake. And so the people who wrote the Bible just rewrote that story into the story of Eve, and how she, before God told her not to bite into the apple, and if she did, she would let evil into the world. And so naturally her curiosity caused her to bite into the apple of the tree of knowledge, and then she let evil into the world. That's just a rewrite of this Pandora's box.
Excuse me? Why didn't he listen to God? Because of the snake. Why didn't he listen to God?
Because she was curious. Everybody has curiosity. So sometimes they want to know about certain things. So if somebody tells you not to open up in, it's like a made-up story kind of. So if somebody tells you, so this is the real reason. The Greeks couldn't explain where evil came from. So they made up this story that evil came from woman opening up the Pandora's box or from Eve biting the apple. Here's what Goethe says the soul is. He says it's the initial points from which the animation of the whole proceeds. So who knows what a soul is? What is it?
I know.
What? Who wants to answer first? We're asking who knows what the soul is.
I know.
Okay.
What
Okay.
the soul is.
What about Ricky? You answer first. You have a bigger spot.
It's like each one of us has a soul, and it's kind of what makes you a person.
What's it made of? What is it? How does it make you a person? Okay. What about you, Jake? What do you think the soul is?
I think the soul is that you have guts and you just have a pile of guts and you have more guts and you have blood.
And you have the soul underneath.
And you have white blood cells.
Okay, Timbo, what about you? Soul?
When you get sick,
Caleb, you know what the soul is? What is it?
you need a soul to survive. Hey, I wasn't done. It's in the middle of the heart.
You gotta get quick answers.
Inside of it.
It's inside the heart, okay. What about you?
I think it's like, some people pass and like a soul is like makes you alive. Some people say it's like a ghost or something.
Okay. That's pretty good. So in the next couple of slides we're going to explain where soul comes from. But Goethe, he said that this is the modern view. You can do away with believing in God because of evolution and science, but the soul is more complicated because he says it's made of initial points. So for example, if you see like a puzzle and you decide to steal it, that's one of the initial points that makes up your soul.
Ich weigere mich, dieses lächerliche Geschreibs weiter zu finanzieren.
Ich bin Johann. Johann Goethe. Ich sah dich. Ganz war mein Herz an deiner Seite. Und jeder Atemzug für dich.
Lächerlich.